I'm back. So today is the day where I get to take the next step. I've spent the last almost a month on subfloor and getting that together. It's been a process, a learning process for me, and I'm excited that it's finally done. Now I can start getting on with building the next step, which is shoring up the overhang over the wheel or the door wells there that I have, and then laying down the plank flooring that I've selected. It has been a process, like I say, a learning process along the way. Initially, when I purchased, so I purchased subflooring 4 different times. This is my 4th attempt, and now it's glued and screwed, it's in there. But the first time, my initial thinking was I wanted to save, or reserve as much height as I can in terms of the ceiling. I didn't want to build up too thick on the floor initially. So I went with an underlayment, which is about 3/16 of an inch, just shy of a 1/4 inch. And I could tell, I had it cut at Home Depot. I could tell before I even, laid it out, when I was putting it into the van, I could tell this is not going to work. So I had laid it out and attempted to walk on it before I even cut it and, scribed it. And I thought, no way. So not really a waste. I'm going to actually use that ply for the walls. And my second attempt, I went with a 1/4 inch plywood, and I got it cut at Home Depot. The guy who cut it, nice guy. I got it home. The cuts that I wanted, that I needed for the 2 pieces were off. And not off just by a fraction of an inch, which I probably could have worked with. They're off by almost 2 inches. So that was a total loss on that. My 3rd attempt, I went back and I went with a 1/4 inch ply again. This time it was cut perfectly. Once I laid it in there, I scribed it, spent all the time doing that. I discovered that it still just wasn't right. When I got it scribed and I set it in before I even attempted to screw it down or glue it, it was still a little, wobbly and unstable. So the 4th attempt here, I had done some research before I even purchased this, and also looked at some videos of various van builders and what they do for flooring. Some of the van builders I saw, a lot of the van builders actually were using a harder hardwood plywood, and some were even using a Baltic, a Baltic birch, a Baltic birch. So I came to a decision in terms of the plywood I picked that's in between the cheap option and the Baltic birch, which is a sand plywood, which is a combination of hardwoods, and it's also manufactured with a certain process which it makes it great for marine applications because of the glue that they use is water resistant. So I'm happy with this purchase here. And I also went from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. So once I got it scribed and laid in there, I tested it, walked on it, felt very confident. And the confidence that I have is so important in terms of having a solid foundation. And that goes with anything in life. I started thinking, if I'm trying to for instance, save cost and save headspace in here, if the foundation isn't right, all that stuff's not going to matter because I'm going to start laying things on here and getting weight on here. If the floor caves in or buckles, I'm going to take everything out and start all over again. And that's a lot of waste of time. We don't want to do that. So I started thinking, my whole process is the foundation is very important. You look at skyscrapers, they drive these steel supports into the ground, and they drive them just as deep as the skyscraper goes high to support that tall building. So if the foundation, if you look at that, in the foundation or in a skyscraper, if the foundation isn't right, the building's going to crumble. And the same with this, the same with relationships, anything in life. If it's not set on a good foundation, whatever it is, it's going to crumble. So I made a decision to go 1/2 inch with a harder wood. I'm very confident with whatever I'm going to put on this, I'm not going to have any problems down the road. So my next step is to clean some things up, shore up again, like I said, to shore up the support for the wood that overhangs over the door seals or wherever I enter in, and then also start laying the floor. So what I want to do is shore up this right here where the overhang of the wood I bought some 2x3, which I'm gonna position in some spaces here, and then I'm just gonna put a board in to give it a nice look and cover it with some of the flooring as well to give it that finished look as well. And the same with over here. This is going to be pretty much an overhang for the cabinetry. Is going to come out this far, and then I'm going to shore it up with some 2x3 as well down here to give it some girth and some stability. It's not too bad right now, but definitely want to shore it up, make sure everything's okay. But I am extremely happy with the way things turned out. I had some problems initially with a drill bit. I broke off a few drill bits and some screws. I had some self-tapping screws, and I actually ended up, even screwing up some of those, so to speak. No pun intended. Next thing is just to sand this little putty that I put in there, sand that down. And I have some uneven spots, very slight, on the little the gap here. The nice thing about it, I screwed it down enough so the gap doesn't even move, but I still want to have it nice and sanded. And I may even put a little caulking in that crack line there too as well, just to make sure that is smooth as well. So yeah, next step is to lay the floors. Okay, just wrapped up a couple hours of just doing some finishing touches on the overhang, the corners of the floor, in particular that corner right there. That little overhang is basically where the end of the cabinet is going to be, and that's where I'm going to have my propane enclosed box in that overhang right there, so I can access it when I open up that sliding door and refill or whatever I need to do. Also, this overhang here, this is where the bed's gonna extend out almost to the driver's seat there. So I shored that up with some wood as well too. So basically just took some 1/2 inch ply. I'm gonna glue it and nail it down in place there. And then actually before I even do that, I'm gonna take some of the flooring and kind of finish it off with that too. So it just has that nice finished look, and the floor just carries on down to those particular areas that I've talked about here, referenced in terms of the overhangs. So I'm gonna take a break here. I don't know if I'll come back to the studio or the storage locker here, or I just may work outside in back of the apartment. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited. Things are progressing slowly, but taking the time is worth it. Anything you want to do and you want to make a good job of it, you've got to take the time to do it right. I'm back. I initially thought I was going to record in the yard. Beautiful day out today, but my neighbors decided to have a barbecue and play a little cornhole. So it's funny when I say that. That just sounds funny to me. But I didn't want to be sawing and make all kind of noise, because I know if I were enjoying the outdoors, I wouldn't want somebody hacking away and jigsawing and doing all that stuff while I'm enjoying my outdoors. So decided to come back here. Plus I'm recording, so I don't want all the extra added stuff in the background as well either. So here we go. I'm at the point now where I'm ready to start laying the floors. Put a little double-sided tape there where I started, because I don't, like in a typical van that may not have that sliding door, I don't have anything to basically play off of in terms of starting that first initial piece. I think it's very important. So I want that to be stable as possible. So I got some Gorilla tape, mounting tape, double-sided, so I can at least have that side a little bit more stable just to start my first one off. So this, as in everything, is a trial and error thing for me. So I'm learning as I go, and so far so good, but you'll see. I had already cut this piece, notched it out, so this wire can fit in there too, and cut it so it's even with the end of the plywood right here, and also gave myself about 1/4 inch. You can't see it on this side of the wheel well here as well. So I'm all set. I cut my next piece, which is a half piece, which is cut and ready to go, and then I'll run a long piece here, then I'll have to do a custom piece on the side here to fit around that wheel well. Here goes. Okay, I almost forgot to tell you about the flooring I went with. But before I do that, I'll give you a little background. I initially ordered from Home Depot a roll of vinyl. And with this roll, it looked good on the website, but just like anything, you can see it in person. It was totally different from what I saw. So I returned it even before I left the store. And also, I wasn't really a big fan of the method in terms of like having to roll it out and cut it and all that good stuff. For me, when I look back, it would have created a lot of excess waste. So I took that, I returned that, and then I immediately purchased some peel and stick squares, like 12-inch by 12-inch squares of peel and stick. Cool looking floor, but then I thought, well, that's going to kind of be a pain too, and then we have a lot more cracks and crevices to deal with as well. So I ended up going with this here, which is a Fisher's Island luxury vinyl plank flooring, Home Depot. Expensive, but again, I'm only covering about 36 square feet of space here, so in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that expensive. If I would have done a whole room like in a house, yeah, that would have been crazy expensive. This was like about $58 for a box or a case of it, and I actually ended up having to buy another case because I only needed like 4 more planks. I had to buy a whole case for those 4 planks, but that's okay. I got a bunch of leftovers in case something happens. But the big seller on this was that it was, I think, easier to lay. It looked a lot better, and it's waterproof. And it also has, it had like a rubber underlayment already included as well. So, hands down, I'm happy with the choice. Quarter of the way done. Voila. All right, folks, that does it for today. I am out of flooring right now, so I got to get more flooring. I don't even know what time it is. Home Depot may not even be open, so. And I like to go early in the morning because less people and less exposure to this ickiness that's going on right now. So, gonna call it a night, do a little cleanup, and tomorrow's Sunday, so I may work, I may take the day off. I don't know. I may relax, but a lot of progress, more than I expected today, actually. So I'm excited. Again, I'm always excited. Yeah. All right. Have an awesome day.